Let's go! We moving on to week number 9. What's up? What you want? You want some fantasy football talk? You came to the right motherfucking place. We got what you need. We got the deets. Got the bubbly man for the job, too. My man Josh Rodriguez.
Holla!
And his tall, slim counterpart, Gregory Fisher.
OG, triple OG. Yeah.
So we got a fun week coming for you boys. We're coming off of some big wins, big losses for some different teams, and we got some hot headlines for you.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
gonna pass it over to my boy Josh. Josh, hit us with that first hot headline, dog.
yeah. So, I'm not going in order of what I sent you because I think the main big
Totally fine.
headline is "Down goes the king," man.
The king. The king
Derrick
is
Henry
dead.
injury. And he's one of those guys that with all that workload that he got, he just never got injured. He was
Right?
so
I never thought that.
for him to finally be injured, and especially for a long period of time, it's just almost like this isn't real. Because he was just that guy that was always in everybody's lineup, 16 game or not 16 for fantasy, but the entire fantasy season, and you didn't have to worry about it except for his bye week. And that's a huge blow to Funk's team. I mean, his team's still good, but that's a huge blow for someone that you're probably not going to have back the rest of the fantasy season.
Well, he's definitely making the playoffs, so hopefully he'll have him back then. But I literally dropped. I like it was 2 or 3 weeks ago. I had Derrick Henry's backup, and I had him for a week, and Henry just kept going off. And
Well, which one? Which
Wait,
one was
you
it?
had
Was it?
Adrian Peterson?
yeah, he's gonna be running back up so quick. No, it was the guy who was the third down back. It wasn't the pass catcher. He ended up getting.
Was it McNichols or Evans?
Yeah, McNichols.
Okay, yeah. Evans is on IR now, so yeah, it's a good thing you dropped him.
And I'm super upset because that's like I literally my thought process was, dude, he's a fucking beast. He's never gonna get injured. He's just gonna consistently run over people. I fucking drop him the next week, and of course, I just always happens.
Yeah.
But like you said, Funk needed to take a hit, so get out of here.
Get out of here,
Yeah.
Funk.
Well, me and Funk are possibly working on a trade, so we'll see if that works out. But you guys will just have to wait to see. Well, by the time everybody else hears this, it'll either have happened or not have happened. So, but yeah, no. And then the next headline is the kiddos talk back. And of course, we're referencing that everybody in the kiddie table division beat someone from the adult table division.
It's some bullshit, I'll tell you that, dude. It's some
And
bullshit.
well, the worst part too is half of us were cupcakes.
Yeah,
dude, that whole.
Bren, I know you weren't, Bren, but and this is one where, like I was talking about before we started, the podcast was just, man, my team just went downhill quick this week. And this will go into actually like another one where I talk about if I regret the trade with Barber, because I got Elijah Mitchell, but I got rid of Pittman and Bateman, and right now my receivers are decimated. Calvin Ridley, I don't know how long he's going to be out. I'm out AB at least through this week, if not a little longer. And like I said, that just went downhill quick for me, and didn't help Robert Tunyon getting injured in the third quarter, and then DeAndre Swift it was just a bad week. I chop it up to that. Nate team, he got the best performance of the year from Robert Woods, and Brandon Cooks freaking got 17 fantasy points in the fourth quarter because of freaking garbage time. That pissed me off. I still would have lost, but it still pissed me off at the time.
Sure.
But yeah, no, the Kitty division showed their strength, and they put a whooping on us adults.
Yeah, but this doesn't mean that they're off the kiddie table. You still belong down there with the little ones, and until you
Right, because
become an adult and win
There's
that
the table of
championship.
truth and the table of bitches. And you're all bitches.
All bitches.
Yeah, we might be bitches, but we bitches with fantasy championship belts.
Mm-hmm.
Irrelevancy.
How many of you? How many of you kiddos are on that belt? Oh wait, none. That's why you're at the kiddie table.
The
That's
kiddie
right.
table.
I have no good comeback to that. Suck a dick.
Suck a dick.
Exactly. Y'all wanted me to throw my weight around as champion. Well, there it is. All right. That's what I thought. I was like, the fantasy guys are just testing me right now. That's all they're doing. They're just seeing if my mental is worthy of the belt, and I'm hoping I'm proving them right.
If anything, it's coming true that the adults are just old and losing it because you're getting fucking old and you all sucking at fantasy football.
Whoa.
And the kiddie table is up and coming talent, just the youthfulness,
No,
ready
you
to
see
take
what
over.
this is yeah, we're adults, we're old, but you guys are kids. You need to be pampered. We got to build your spirits up, But
Mm-hmm.
Put my butt face on.
when push comes to shove, when you start talking too much shit, that's when we're gonna beat you down. That's when we're gonna block your shots and rain threes on your ass. All right.
Oh, we got the McVay versus the Belichick. Whatever you want, dog.
So, but yeah, let's go on to our next headline, which, like I said, I'll do is a trade he will regret, which I'm talking about myself, with the trade for Pittman and Bateman for Mitchell. And like I said, I mean, Pittman looked really good last week.
Pittman's
Mitchell's
pretty good all year. I was
right.
I'll be honest, I was very shocked that you let Matt keep the trade and switch that guy in. I would have said you got two options: keep it or it's off.
Well, yeah, I was hoping the fantasy guys would reward me for my generosity.
Yes,
fair,
yep.
That's fair.
Obviously
Should have went with killing a chicken, but
right, yeah, exactly. I was trying to avoid that,
Classic Rodriguez.
But it is what it is, and but my thinking with that trade was at the time, I still had Brown. I was thinking I have Brown, I had Calvin Ridley. I was like, Emmanuel Sanders is a solid flex. And then I could switch in Tony if I need to, because he was looking good, even though he just came off an injury. But before that, he was looking good. So I was like, oh, I'm pretty set at receiver. I don't need 6 receivers, but
right.
I need depth at running back. So I was like, I could trade 2 of these, for a running back, and that'd be straight. And I thought Mitchell was a solid either fill-in running back, or once again, I could throw him at my flex if I needed to. So it gave me some flexibility. But then, like I said, after I made the trade, my team went downhill. Calvin Ridley's working on his mental, which I hope everything's all right with that. But so I don't know how long he's going to be out. Right, and I'm hoping, because I was like listening to some of my podcasts that I listened to, and people that they were like, "Oh, I'm watching the games," and and this was before he even came out and said all this.
Mm-hmm.
They were saying that he just didn't look into it. You know what I mean? Like, he just didn't look focused. He just didn't look like his normal self. And then all this came out. So I said, I'm hoping he comes back in a couple weeks and he's back to his normal, like he was last year, just dominating self. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I don't have him. I hope AB comes back after his bye this week. Tony, as good as he is, that like I was saying last night, man, that their play calling for the Giants and Daniel Jones just there are those people that just don't take advantage of the talent that they do have,
Sure.
And so that scares me. And then Emmanuel Sanders, as much as I've been boasting him up, like, that is the downside with it's the same as AB, kind of, where every once in a while he's going to be the odd man out, and that was that. He didn't connect on his 4 or 5 targets, and he put up a goose egg. So, do I regret the trade? No. I mean, I do this week just because I need Pittman. But I think going forward, I'll see what happens if this trade with Funk goes through. That might happen. Because he texted me this morning. He said, "Hey, if you want to still do Mitchell for Deontay Johnson, I'll do it."
Oh, that'd be
So
big. That'd be big.
that might be the trade. So hopefully by the end of the year, I'll have Kamara, Swift, Lamar Jackson, and then my wide receivers will actually be really solid if Ridley comes back. Where I'll have Deontay Johnson, Ridley, Waller, and then I'll have probably AB at my flex, which healthy, I think that's a pretty solid starting lineup right there. That will probably be hard to beat, but we'll see if Funk he hasn't accepted the trade yet, even though
probably doesn't help that he's what's his face is injured. I'm sure that's Mitchell's
Elijah. Yeah,
Mitchell's
no, it's
injured, which isn't
they don't
great.
think it's anything serious, but yeah, he might be waiting for that. I don't know.
He did have Gronk with a rib injury, and that turned into like a 6-week ordeal. And they were like, "Oh, he's fine. He's back on the field." And then all of a sudden, he's out. So he might be a little hesitant on Mitchell.
Yeah, well, he knew that, but he still. Well, I guess I don't know if he knew that this morning when he texted that. But anyway, so do I regret it? As of right now, no. But we'll see in a couple weeks if I get any of my players back and if they and stuff. So, all right, let's go to the next one. So, Bren, this one's yours. I'll let you do it. So go ahead.
Yeah, dude, there ain't gonna be no body, there ain't no crime, okay? This is about motherfuckers putting up high points on me every other freaking week. And if it ain't the highest points, it's the second highest points. And it's just like, if one more person does it, I'm going to kill you. And nobody's going to find your body. I can promise you.
And of course, I face you next. So if I do this, I'm dead.
We're going to be down one co-host then.
You have so many points against. It's just hilarious.
It just beats you down when, a couple hours in, I look and he has 3 people playing. His defense has like 20 some points. His quarterback's already got, 30 some points. And he had a running back. He had Taylor in or something going off. I don't know. It was just like, okay, this is over.
Well, Justin was funny because like every Sunday he'll be texting me like just venting or whatever, and he was like, "There's so many points during that week, or during Sunday where he's like worried about you coming back." I'm like, "Dude, I think you're pretty safe. Like, I think you're okay. Like, And he's like, "Oh no, I don't know. This might happen or that might happen." It's like I was like, "Justin, I think you're okay, dude. Like, you should feel fine." He's like, "Well, I don't know." And then he like breaks it down specifically to like, "Well, if Brent's person gets this and this and this and this," and I'm like, "Do you listen? Like, do you hear yourself? Like, how likely is that? It's not."
He was texting me that Sunday night, and I was telling him the same shit, and I'm on the losing side of it. I'm like, dude, you have 3 people left, and you have to make up 30 points. Like, you're gonna be fine.
Oh, but yeah, Shane was just that team was, man.
Shane's got a solid team, and he
his
put up
team's
points.
better than I thought it was, man. Not gonna lie. Debo is way more consistent than I thought he was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
And Godwin benefited from no AB and no Gronk. But he's still a good receiver.
Right. Yeah, I think if Philly and Folk don't put up as much, he's not looking as drastic, but he does have a good team. He's got a top 3-4 team for sure.
Yeah, and then Stafford. Stafford's been balling.
Yeah, I hate Stafford. I'm gonna shit him all year, but obviously he's gonna be
right.
He's gonna be good. So
yeah. No, so but yeah, and then the last headline is every week going forward. Not that the previous weeks weren't important, but every week going forward is super important. You got probably nine of the 10 teams. Like I would say Shane's probably the only like safe one to not miss the playoffs. So I think he's the only one that's for sure in. But Craig, if you went on a losing streak, you could not make it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I think what is the number every year? Like 7 or 8 wins you got to put up. to technically make the
usually it's like 6 is the
6 or 7.
like minimum. Yeah, 6 or 7. So
Yeah, usually like the bottom teams are fighting around 5 or 6. So
yeah,
if I can, I think my team, barring injury,
yeah.
I think I'm going to be all right to sneak in one
Well,
way or the
no,
other.
that's
I could,
no,
100%
for sure.
go on a losing streak and just be out of it.
But that's what I mean, though. Like, it's still very like there is a possibility for like 9.
Oh, 100%.
The 9 of us to freaking be shuffled and finish
Yes.
any which way,
Yes.
know.
It's close, man.
So
Separation.
yeah, so every week, every point that your team scores from this point forward is super, super important. And it's just gonna, for me, it just makes the weeks that much miserable if I lose, but that much sweeter if I win.
Right.
So everybody play waivers. Everybody, some teams. I mean, we'll kind of go over it in the segment, but kind of start trying to make trades if you think you need it. Like this is the time for action.
I was telling Josh before we started like how irritated I am. Like I'm not even gonna put in waivers because I've been sitting like 7, 8, 9 all fucking year, and I know there's at least 3 or 4 people ahead of me that will take the 3 or 4 good players on the waivers, and it's just so frustrating.
Yeah, at that point, you might as well just wait and see who people drop or don't pick up.
Right,
and then
just try to claim someone. Yeah,
play it at 6 in the morning. Get your guy.
Mm-hmm.
I know that's what I was telling. That's what I was telling you, Craig. About like I'm 5, so like part of me doesn't want to play waivers because I think the few people I want might get taken. But then I'm like, it's a possibility I might get 1 or 2 of them because I'm at 5. Like I'm in that in between kind of.
Right. Yeah,
I gotta.
If you like your depth too, it's harder to drop, which sucks.
Right. Yeah. That's
definitely
true.
got some pieces to mess around with.
Oh yeah, I dropped Allen Robinson. I dropped Robert Tonyan. I dropped Daniel Jones. So like I got like 3 spots wide open.
There you go. Yeah.
So, but all right, let's move on to put them on blast.
Yeah, dude. Real quick, dude. I got a quick put them on blast for you.
Go ahead.
Now, I don't want to make this a super long conversation.
No.
But
which
that
means it will be.
Piece of waiver wire trash put up a fat fucking goose egg.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Let's discuss.
So, short
That's
answer,
where we're
not
going.
short, sweet answer. Do you still believe in your wide receiver 2, Emmanuel Sanders?
Yes, I do.
Okay, that's it. That's all I needed.
Yes, I. Just because of the offense he's on.
Okay, I like it.
It'd be like if AB put up a 0. Like okay, perfect example, Bren, would be Mike Evans.
Yeah.
He has now granted he doesn't put up a 0, but
exactly.
But he gives you weeks where he puts up 6,
2.7 or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. But you don't give up on him because. So like I'm not saying Emmanuel Sanders is Mike Evans or is better than Mike Evans,
sure.
But it's the same concept where I'm not going to give up on him, but because of that offense and how potent they are. Because, I mean, even Stephon Diggs, he had a bad game, but he got bailed out by a touchdown. Where other weeks, that's been Emmanuel Sanders, where he's been the one getting the touchdowns. You know what I mean? This just happened to be a Cole Beasley week where he got 10 for freaking 100 and whatever. So
they let that white man back on the field?
Yeah, I know.
Shit,
I was shocked too. I was like, this is the black man's game, and they got a white dude out there. But
such
whatever. So, but no, yeah. I mean, like I said, not to make a conversation, but yeah, I still believe in him. But it does, like, I'm not as like steady as in he has to be in my lineup every week. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Like, I would still feel comfortable.
Or even on your team altogether.
No, he's on my team. I'm not dropping him. But I'm just saying, like,
I've cemented that man onto Josh's team for the rest of the year. You're all welcome.
Yeah, I'm not dropping him. So yeah. So fuck you, Brent.
Oh,
But
good. So good.
no, I had a quick put 'em on blast too that I thought of, and it's
Sure.
nothing related to our league or anything, but the fucking NFL trade deadline is such a piece of trash. I hate it. It builds up about all these rumors about people being traded and blah blah blah, and then nothing happens. Like 3 trades went down, and
Right.
all
It's nowhere near as
all
good as the NBA. The
No.
right,
NBA
exactly.
has perfected it.
That's what I mean. Like they have like on ESPN, they have like an hour segment, like trade deadline, power hour, like to say, and it's like cool. So you could talk about how the Texans traded this unknown pass rusher for a 6th-round pick. Cool, great. I'm glad you're doing that. Like,
Yeah, that's always like media hype build up. I feel like with the NFL
right,
draft because I've noticed that the last couple of years they're always putting out sweet scenarios and you're thinking about it and then like nothing happens. No one does
right,
anything, and like I agree, 100%.
exactly.
It's just a bunch of media hype for the NFL. The NFL don't do it right.
And
NBA,
I'm just like, man, because like I picked up Allen Robinson last week and held him just in case he got traded. Now I'm not saying, he should have been traded, blah blah, like whatever. But I'm just saying, like, they need to do something. Like, either don't build it up, like Craig is saying, like don't
Right.
fucking build it up,
the
or
world.
whatever. So it's just you build it up like that, and it's just such a big disappointment every year. It seems like, and
For sure.
I mean, it's my own fault. I fall for it,
Mm-hmm.
and stuff. But yeah, so that's my put them on blast. That I think
For sure.
when so. All right, let's go to the segment. Brent, I'll let you explain this segment since it was your brainchild.
Yeah. So like you were saying earlier, we're getting down to that point in the season where every week is starting to matter that much more.
Yeah.
And because of that, you were saying that like if you were going to make a trade, now's a great time to do it. And I agree with you 100% on that. And so I thought we would go over at least a few pieces for people since people could clearly don't know how to value their own players. Um cough,
Fools.
Justin.
We'll do it for you.
We're gonna do it for you. Yeah, we're gonna look at a few teams, look at what we believe to be maybe your hottest trade piece, and who you
hmm
should try and go out and get, whether it's a specific player or just position to maybe help
Right.
guide you along your way.
Yeah, and I thought this was a great, just because it to me like it just ties in like how today was the deadline for the trade deadline in the NFL, and then you brought this segment up, and I was like, oh, dude, that's perfect.
Boom.
This is perfect to do. So, yeah. So, all right. So I'll start by giving. So, like, the first person I have is Mac. I think Mac is someone that needs to make a trade. Um, for me, I think his biggest trade piece is obviously Christian McCaffrey. Um, the only thing with Mac though is he would need to decide because McCaffrey, we don't know if or when he's coming back. So if you're gonna trade Christian McCaffrey, you would do it now, but you have to in his mindset, he has to be thinking McCaffrey's not coming back. Because if he thinks McCaffrey's coming back, you don't trade him unless you get a ridiculous haul like Travis Kelce plus Dalvin Cook plus whatever for McCaffrey because he's just such a difference maker.
Yeah.
So like for me it was McCaffrey or Fournette are his 2 trade pieces that I think he'd be able to trade and get a good haul for. And so like for
Okay.
you guys, if you were Mac and those are your trade pieces, we'll go with Leonard Fournette first. If you were trading Leonard Fournette, who would you be or what would you be looking to get back from that?
If I was trading Leonard Fournette, I would be looking for. I mean,
Because he is
I
a
would
good
be looking
running back
at
this year.
a
Go
team
ahead.
that really needs a running back,
Obviously.
Mhm.
and then has a really good flex or wide receiver option. because Tyler Boyd is clearly not the guy you want to be putting in there. So
hey, he came through this week.
Let's find you a Keenan Allen. Let's find you, whoever it is that you want to put that's hot in that spot.
I was gonna say if you're hoping McCaffrey comes back too, like, and you're gonna plug him in essentially where Leonard Fournette will be, then yeah, finding like a strong wide receiver 1-2, even just straight up, just for your flex or something like that. Because Leonard Fournette, we talked about his red zone attempts. He's similar to Harris, where they just feed him the ball in the red zone. So
yeah.
If I was me, I wouldn't say I would keep Leonard Fournette and McCaffrey and try to. I see. No, you're right. You have to trade Leonard Fournette and get probably wide receiver 1.
So so let me. So I had a couple partners for him. Of Funk was one of them. So like because of the injury to what's his face, to Derrick Henry.
Yeah. Funk
So would you do Fournette for say Deontay Johnson?
I would personally want a little more. I think Deontay Johnson's really good, but he seems to be consistent.
So if you were Funk, you would want a little more. You're saying?
Yes. No. If I was Funk and someone traded me Leonard Fournette for Deontay Johnson, I'd take that straight up.
Yeah.
That's a really sweet deal.
Because that would work for both of them. Because that would give Funk his RB2 with Henderson, or RB1, whichever way you look at it, and he still has 3 great receivers, and then for Mac he would have, like I said, he would have to then wait till McCaffrey comes back. Either way, if you're trading for Fournette, you have to wait till McCaffrey comes back, if he comes back. So that's what you're banking on, but he gets his wide receivers would then be ridiculous.
Yeah, if I was Mac, I'd ask for a little bit more. I would ask for a little bit more if I was Mac. Like maybe not like ask for the world, but maybe get like depending if you like the end, try to sneak like a Gronk in there too. So like maybe get
that, and Funk's a little bit more needy. So in this situation, because of the major injury, so yeah, I would definitely try and get a little bit more. But Deontay Johnson for Fournette would not be bad for both of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think Josh Jacobs would fill that RB2 role. So again, we're assuming McCaffrey comes back.
Right.
McCaffrey, Jacobs, 2 of the hottest wide receivers, and then you're plugging in a flex who hasn't scored under 10 points.
So so hold on. So for let's just now go to a McCaffrey trade.
Okay.
Because when I did McCaffrey, I had Shane in mind. Because of his team, obviously it's loaded. So if you're trading McCaffrey, you're gonna want a boatload, right?
Right.
So with Shane, I was thinking something like one of his running backs, either Taylor or Robinson. I was thinking Robinson, but if he's injured, you're not going to do that. So it would be like Taylor and Debo. Would you do Taylor and Debo for McCaffrey?
If I was Mac, I would. That sounds better from Mac's end. And that, if Christian McCaffrey comes back healthy, that would be huge for Shane, because Shane can plug in Godwin,
McCaffrey, where Taylor isn't Godwin.
Yeah, and like depending on how much faith, he talks up Harris a lot. I do like Harris.
Right,
I think he has
and Waddle. He talks up Waddle a lot too.
Yeah, Waddle. We'll see how that can do. We'll see with Waddle. I mean, who knows? But at least with Damian Harris, he does get a lot of the red zone looks. He's the main back on that offense. It's similar to it's kind of stingy where it's hot or cold. But yeah, that would be huge for Shane, I think. But yeah.
Yeah, I think it would help both. I mean, if you're Mac too, you could even maybe try to take a flyer and get like a Harris or a Galladay or a Zach Moss, like one of those flyer pieces as a third piece, just in case it hits. You know what I mean? On top of those two.
Yeah, if you can maybe package like Pollard in there, I bet you could throw like McCaffrey and Pollard and get like Taylor, Debo, and maybe a Harris. Something like that. Or maybe even Godwin, depending on how you want to look at it. But you don't want.
That would just depend, because with McCaffrey being injured right now and there's no clear time, like I keep hearing next week is like his best chance to come back, but I mean, we don't know for sure. It could, they say that, but then it could be never, it could be 2 weeks. You know what I mean? So the
Yeah.
reason I had Shane as like the best fit for like a McCaffrey one is Shane kind of has that firepower to hold in case McCaffrey does come back, and but not right away. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
he's got 6 wins. He could weather the storm a bit and pull out some wins still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And
how
then
about you,
have
Bren? Would you do Taylor and Samuel for Christian McCaffrey?
Yeah, yeah. It gets so interesting though, because I don't think this trade would ever happen.
me neither.
Right.
Just because it gets so tough when you get up to those big like chess pieces, right? Like a McCaffrey, it's so hard to feel like you're getting equal value back, even if you're getting multiple
Right.
pieces.
But I mean, the
And
way like, and this is just me. I'm sorry, Brent. Didn't mean to cut you off, but
nope, you're
this
good.
is the only reason like I wanted to cut you off though is because like this is Mac needs to think about this in the fact that he now hasn't had McCaffrey for 3/4 of the season so far, and if he can get value like this, like you're you already don't have him on your team and haven't had him on your team for a while. So if you can get these pieces in Taylor and Samuel and
Yeah,
complete your lineup, to me, like I would already have myself distanced from McCaffrey. Does that make sense? Like
yeah,
I
yeah.
wouldn't,
It does
I would,
actually.
I wouldn't be as connected to him and like attached to him as if he was in my lineup most of the week.
Sure.
You know, it's
Yeah.
not like he just missed last week, but he's been playing since then.
Mm-hmm.
It's he's been in his IR spot for how long now, and how much longer is he going to do that? So at some point, you just got to capitalize on that and say, well, I've been winning without him, like to say, or I've been floating water without him. If I can get this type of return, then I'm okay without him and let someone else deal with the headache. You know, instead
Yeah.
of holding on to that hope, and then like last year, you know, how many times was he supposed to come back last year, and then eventually he was out for the season?
Yep.
So I'm not saying that's going to happen, but that's something you have to take into consideration when you're fighting for not missing the playoffs to
Yep.
make the playoffs, you know?
And
So
like
that's
you
just
said, the only guy you could go to do this is Shane, because Shane has
probably
all
Shane.
this value here that he could give up. Yeah.
Right, where he could sustain a big blow like that. And he
Sure.
could even sustain if McCaffrey didn't come back right away next week, or maybe
Yep.
even one more
Because
week,
he's
you know.
got the
But
wins.
that's
So
also
yeah.
the thing too, is then Shane's taking a big chance. You know, that's Shane going big, and if that happened and McCaffrey came back, Shane would be the heavy favorite to win for sure.
Right. Yeah. He puts himself in that yep, best
I
Yeah,
mean,
position.
so
it helps Mac is 4-4. So like I think if he was in more of a desperate situation, he might think about it. But it's one of those things too, like he's already come this far. You know, he's not I'm sure he doesn't want to trade him a week or two, you know, prior to his projection of coming back. So
right,
but
but I mean you're 4-4 without him basically too. So like imagine if you had actual pieces instead of relying on, you know, imagine having Debo at your flex instead of Tyler Boyd every week.
yeah,
Imagine having Jonathan Taylor instead of Josh Jacobs going forward. Like you don't know if McCaffrey's gonna be playing is my thing. And like I agree, like if you know McCaffrey's playing next week for sure, yeah, you probably don't make this trade. But I'm just saying if that's where Mac has to decide though. You know what I mean? If
yeah, I think it sounds like he's taking that gamble. Because
yeah,
I
I
don't
mean
know. I don't know if Shane, but like you said, you know, it could really go either way. It could really fuck him in
which
the
is
ass.
fair, but like yeah, like I said too though, like he to me you've already come this far without McCaffrey pretty much anyways. He's only played what, like 2 games for him? One and a
Yep.
half.
I'm on your side. I'd probably lean towards
So
trying to get some major value long term, you know,
right.
hoping for his potential, you know, calcium deficient body to come back on that field and get wrecked again.
Because
So
because too, especially we don't know what's going on with Patrick Mahomes if this he hasn't looked good the past few weeks.
yeah,
I mean
that's really
just
fucking Mac over too. That's scary.
right. So you don't have Mahomes, you don't, or I mean you have Mahomes, but you almost don't have Mahomes, and then you haven't had McCaffrey. So if you can have these other pieces, you need a stronger lineup to hold up your quarterback either until you get someone else to fill that quarterback spot or Mahomes comes back to, what you're used to with him and stuff. So, but no, that was great. So that was Mac. That was the first guy. The next guy I did was Nate. I felt like his best trade piece. I felt like this was pretty easy. It was Aaron Jones, and I mean, for team needs, he kind of needs everything almost. Wide receiver, RB2, well, probably an RB1 as well if he's trading Jones, and then a QB unless he thinks Russell Wilson's coming back, which he might be. So you could probably take QB out of that. But I think for sure he needs upgrades at receiver. So what would you guys want in return for Aaron Jones?
Oof.
If you were Nate?
I would have a really hard time trading him. I would maybe look a little bit further down to TJ because he's kind of cemented that himself as that top 3 tight end out there.
Well, see, I was gonna do that, but who really needs a tight end, and what are they gonna give up for a tight end?
I tried to get Hawkins from him.
I was gonna say if you could find that person who's maybe valuing that position very high.
Okay, but that's
you could then get those 2 pieces out of him.
Right, but okay, so Craig, this is great because you say what are you willing to give him for Hawkinson?
I originally tossed him Tyler Lockett and T. Higgins, I believe it was, for TJ Hawkinson. This is prior to, that's 2 receivers. So that's kind of where I was looking. Was that when Russell got hurt, or was it before he got hurt? I believe that was prior to Russell getting hurt. But Russell, like you said, Russell, you're planning on Russell coming back, and he needed better flex. Like, he has got Hunter Renfrow at his flex, so I believe the option was I might have thrown in Fant too, so you could plug in Fant. But yeah, you can throw in T. Higgins at your flex. He's a great flex play, wide receiver 3 with more potential depending on how the year goes.
Now I will say he, at that time, especially if it was before Russell got hurt, he still had Allen Robinson, who he probably at that time still had some hope for, even though he was crushing him. But that's not a bad offer. I probably would have taken that.
Sorry.
Yeah, I probably would have taken that for Hawkinson, especially having Russell Wilson. I would have kind of tried to get that combo of that Russell Wilson Lockett combo. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Ooh. Oh, yeah.
So, I think he has Melvin Gordon, who was on my team at the time. That might have been a part of the trade, because with his running back situation, RB2.
Yeah.
Darrell Williams is great if he starts the rest of the year, but you don't know what's going to happen with that.
He's probably not, though, because CEH will come back. But even if, go ahead.
I was gonna say he's got J.D. McKissick too, who's just proving to be a PPR star. So I was.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. He has McKissick and
Gibson.
Gibson.
Yeah.
So
he's got Melvin Gordon. He's got Dearness Johnson. He's got a lot of decent.
Right. So right now, if you took out Fant, if you were to offer him, if I was him, and you were to offer me Higgins and Lockett for Hawkinson, I would have to strongly consider that, especially like you said, if you're keeping Aaron Jones. Russell Wilson seems like he's going to be coming back, whether it's next week or the week after. To me, I would do that for Hawkinson. He's a good tight end, but he's been too up and down this year for me to hold on to him like that. You know what I mean? Like, this past week was his first good game in 4 weeks.
Yeah. So, now it's just funny because how things move, and this was weeks ago. I don't even know if I would offer him that anymore.
No, right, yeah, but I probably would have taken that then as well.
Because that was what That was prior. It might have been Lockett and Melvin Gordon because that was prior to me. I sent the similar trade for Marquise Brown, and I got Marquise Brown over. It was like the same trade I sent Nate for Hawkinson. I got Marquise Brown.
Yeah.
But
see, for me, it was so right now with your roster, what would you offer him right now
for that
Hawkinson?
boy? I don't know.
I'll be honest. I looked. I didn't think you had enough pieces for it.
To give, like, I don't know, like
Hawkinson. Yeah.
I don't really have, like none of my bench receivers are really better than his starting receivers. I mean, Devontae Parker is pretty much similar to Cook's potential, but they're going to be, Cooks has a great game script where he's going to be getting garbage points all year round. So, he has that potential. So, I could have, if you can promise Lockett, that's about it. I could maybe give him Lockett, but I don't know Lockett because I'm probably going to use him when Russell comes back. So.
Right. So, but that was my point to not having Hawkinson as his best piece, though, is because chances are either someone's not gonna.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, right. It's not his best piece because that's gonna be one of those things where he's gonna value Hawkinson more than what someone's willing to pay.
Sure.
For Hawkinson, like someone's not gonna give up a starting piece, even if it's only like a T. Higgins who's not like a superstar in fantasy, but like that, you're not gonna be like, oh well, I can get rid of T. Higgins, upgrade my tight end, and do my flex. Like you're not gonna do that straight up. You know what I mean? And you're definitely not gonna do a 2-for-1 right now for it. So that's what I mean. Like he's not gonna get that value. Where with Aaron Jones, you can for example, for Nate, I have Shane. As we just talked about, if you could trade Shane, Aaron Jones, and get a Damian Harris. Now, granted, you downgrade a little bit at running back, but then you can get a Damian Harris and maybe a Deebo Samuel or an Amari Cooper or something. If depends how you value those type of people. You know what I mean? Where you can get a 2-for-1, or you could try and get two of his running back or wide receivers or something like that. Because I mean, it just depends too how much you value. Like I said, I mean, Cook's got almost all his points in the fourth quarter when they took out all their starters and stuff like that. So, are you going to count on that every week? Are you going to count on? This was Robert Woods' first great game all year, I think. So either that, or you could try to do Aaron Jones for 2 running backs because he needs a second running back.
With how I don't want to say like subpar, but with how like middle of the pack his players have been, I think you really, if you're going to trade Aaron Jones, you really got to look for like you said, like, I mean, if he's going to plug in one of his other RB3s and try to make up 10 plus points every week, and then he'd have to shoot for like 2 really strong wide receiver 2s, or like a wide receiver 1 and a wide receiver 2, which once again, you look to people who need running backs like Funk or, Funk. Yeah. Needs a running back.
I put Justin down, but that might be a little hard because I don't know if Justin. You would have to get one of his like AJ Brown or something like that, but then like Nate's team's just so hard because like
he could get Justin Herbert from Justin. I mean, he could get like
right, but if you're counting on Russell Wilson coming back,
I bet you Justin's not bad because he could do Jones for like Gaskin, Herbert, and like. I mean, I don't know if it's too much, but like you could do like Gaskins, Herbert, and maybe like one of his. I don't know if he'd give up any of his receivers. I would not do Claypool, but like
I was about to say that'd probably be the only one. Maybe you could talk him into Claypool or into DJ Moore, but
with how Carolina's been struggling, I could see him maybe doing that. But like at the same time, like. But you got to think he's plugging in Dalvin Cook and Aaron Jones and Stephon Diggs and Josh Allen. Like, fuck it if he loses DJ Moore, like,
right,
or AJ Brown, who's just starting to come around, who has no. Derrick Henry went down, so like, who's to say they're going to move down the field as easy? So you can get rid of AJ Brown, toss him, Justin Herbert, and then even. If I was Nathan, I'd be asking for at least 3 players, like 2 or 3 players that are going to fill some.
Well, if you're getting 2 players, they have to be 2 like.
Too good.
Right, like 2 RB2s or RB2 and at least the top 15 wide receiver, like something like that for Aaron Jones.
Yeah.
Or like 2 top 20 receivers, something like that. Yeah, I totally agree with you on that. But yeah, those were the ones that I had for Nate to do because that's his problem is he only has really, like I said, Aaron Jones as his best trade piece, maybe Hawkinson, but I just don't know what people are willing to pay for Hawkinson because tight end and quarterback are probably the 2 least valuable positions, especially in trades. You know what I mean? Like
For
they're
sure.
the easiest positions to stream.
You're probably
Yeah.
right.
Or
If you
at
want
least
to upgrade
with
the
tight
most,
end, they're not easy. Yeah, with tight end, they're not easy to stream. But it's like if you don't have the top like 3 tight ends, people just say fuck it, I'm gonna stream. Like not many people are gonna trade for tight end 8 because a lot of times you just score 1 touchdown and boom, you're tight end 8. Like
Yeah, I agree.
so.
Nate can suck it and finish dead.
Bold prediction,
He's
baby. Let's
cooked.
go.
Right? Yep. Josh predicted it.
So all right, let's go to the next one. So I put Dan down. And before, because I know some people are gonna take this as like, oh, you think my team sucks, blah blah blah. No, these are just 5 people. Like all of us are, fighting for spots and people
We're the
that
only
could make
ones with
trades.
worthy trade pieces.
obviously.
Right, exactly, and that could make it. So for Dan, for his pieces, I put Tyreek Hill and Nick Chubb as the 2 pieces. Maybe Tyler McLaurin. Perry McLaurin, not Tyler. But I didn't put McLaurin down, but I put Tyreek Hill and Nick Chubb. We all know how Dan values his things, his people. I put his needs as tight end and RB2. I mean, depends who he's trying to trade. If Tyreek Hill, I think he could. I put as potential partners either myself or Barber. But once again, I know Dan's going to value Tyreek Hill, and he is a very valuable wide receiver, but he's also very boom or bust, especially this year more than others. I mean,
Yeah.
I think he
he
made a
got
pretty
into
good argument for it when he said to Shane, when the possibility of Tyreek Hill putting up 30 is not only very likely, but it's been known to happen.
oh
And like
yeah,
Tyreek Hill's one
guaranteed.
of those receivers that will win you games. He's definitely should be valued in that
Yes,
top 10 area.
yeah, no, and he is,
Over
and I'm
Hank
not
Harris, like,
right, and I'm not
but he
saying
is
like
boomer bust.
yeah, and I'm not saying like Dan is overvaluing him ridiculously. I'm just saying like, so for me, with if I were to try and trade for Tyreek Hill, especially with my roster, I would not be able to afford Tyreek Hill. Like
Right.
the only
Yeah.
the only thing I could really give him is like Waller and one of my, Emmanuel Sanders or Antonio Brown, maybe. I could do something
You'd
like
have to
that
do
for
like
Tyreek.
both of them.
No, I
Do the
could
3.
like no, I would do it, especially Waller and AB, and then
For Tyreek
I mean,
Hill, I don't know why he would.
yeah,
I don't think he would ever do that.
no, right. That's what I mean. I don't think, but I'm just saying that's what
Yeah.
I could. That's all I
Oh,
could
because you
afford.
I
couldn't
feel
afford
you.
him. Yeah, I see what you're
Yeah,
saying. Yeah,
that's all
I
I was
see.
saying. I couldn't afford because that's what all I could do, and
For
like I mean, I
sure.
could throw in
Yeah,
Emmanuel Sanders or
Dan's in
something,
a
but
tough spot, looking for that RB2 spot. That slot's a tough one to go out and get.
right. But
I mean,
I will
you're
say
good.
that he's not too bad at that RB2 spot. Like
No,
Ugh.
it's not a desperate need. They're for his team, they're good enough. You know what I mean? They're not great, but they're good enough.
well, depending on
But he
Kyler
could,
Murray's injury too, that could really play a role in how those running backs perform, and then definitely gets much more roulette-ish with okay, which one do I play? So
yeah,
Yeah,
no,
for me,
exactly.
like if I were sitting in his shoes, I'd still be sitting on Kittle. Like I think my tight end position's
same,
fine.
yeah.
So the
Without
only
Yeah,
position I could see him wanting to go out and try and upgrade would be, I guess, I don't know, maybe
he's got
that RB2, but that's because I don't have
right.
faith in those two running backs.
Yeah, no,
I'm
with you.
I'd almost rather start again. Who's that Washington second back? I'm gonna start him over
McKissick?
Yeah, I'd almost start McKissick over either of those. Jeez.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd go that far. But
No, they've been. Dude, that's the thing. He'll tell you too. I mean, we can look at the stats. Connor and Edmonds are, doing work. They're being good enough.
Well,
But
like,
is it going to last? Who
I'm going
knows?
to give you Chase's numbers here. 12, 10, 11. That like barely is meeting that 10-point mark there.
That's basically
And then you finally have a good weekend, 16, but then he goes 2.9, 6.5, 9.5, 14. So it's like
it's
clearly
stingy, dude.
Yeah.
It's
just
stingy.
a low floor. It's just a low floor with no ceiling.
Yeah,
well,
really.
and two,
And so I don't know.
the reason I put Nick Chubb too is like Nick Chubb's good, but he has not gotten touchdowns this year. Like whether you call it vulturing, whether it's injury, whether it's whatever, Nick Chubb, especially with not getting much work in the passing game, he needs those touchdowns that he's not getting. So like he's still a good RB, but
Sure.
he's not that great RB1 that
Yeah,
you're.
but I guess I have faith in his volume. I know he was just kind of
That's
getting
fair.
back from injury, and so I guess I'd have faith in that volume still.
Yeah, I
That's
think
fair, but
he gets like a 50 split at those red zone touch. He gets like a 50
Mhm.
split at that red zone touches. So he's just not converting currently, but that doesn't mean he's not getting the chances. It's kind of like Fournette.
Yeah.
Where like the volume is bound to pay off at some point. But you're right, he hasn't gotten any touchdowns this year.
You're
But
right.
Well, if he gives up Chubb, then he's really got to capitalize on RB. So if anything, he's got to give up. He doesn't want to give up RB, right?
Yeah.
So real quick question for you guys. So like, would you rather have Nick Chubb or Joe Mixon?
Joe Mixon.
Joe Mixon. So
yeah,
if you were Dan, would you?
If I could
See, I didn't see this, but I really like Michael Carter from the Jets, just the way they're using him and stuff.
The Jets are scoring points, that's for sure.
Yeah. Well, especially with that new guy, dude. The running backs are getting like 20 targets a game between all of them.
Looking at Dan's team in general, honestly, like you said, if Kittle comes back and Terry's not on bye and he plugs Terry, he can plug Terry in his flex. His true weakness is Edmonds or what's his face. But like you said, I mean, if Carter's playing good and he can plug Carter in, that might be a positive.
Yeah.
Right.
He might be just fine there.
The problem is he's gonna have to.
And like I said, he might be fine, but like I say, I mean, I felt like RB was somewhere he could upgrade. It's not like a desperate need, but he could upgrade. It's just a matter of
No, I
getting it done.
100% agree with you. Yeah.
No, yeah.
And yeah, that was a hard one that I put in there.
That was a toughie.
Thought, yeah. So.
Yeah, I don't know what he's gonna do. He's in a pickle with those two Arizona running backs.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing, though. Like, if one's going off, the other's not.
Right.
So like, kind of choosing. Now, every once in a while, they both go off, but or not go off, but have a good week. But yeah, because he doesn't really have the depth to make a trade either. Dan doesn't.
Not for what he needs, probably.
Right, not to upgrade his RB1 or
he'd
RB2.
have to give us. He's got a good starting lineup, but like he'd have
to. Because when I asked you guys the Chubb and Mixon question, I was gonna say if you offered Barber, Chubb, and something else for Mixon, would you do it? But I don't know what he would do, because especially since he just Barber just made that trade with me.
Right. Yeah, I don't think Barber wouldn't be the target, unfortunately.
Right. And then like I said, for me,
decimated at running back.
Right. And like for me, that's my strength is my two running backs. So
everyone seems to have one good one. Like I think everyone's got one at least one solid healthy running back in them.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, he's in a pickle. He's hoping he just find a flyer something.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, but
Carter might pay off.
His team is pretty solid though. Re-looking at it, yeah, there's no glaring need, especially if Kittle returns to any semblance of what Kittle can be, and stuff. So, but all right, let's go to. So I had Bren. I have you down as well, and so I have your trade pieces as Saquon, But then also CD Lamb and Mike Evans, I feel like would be solid trade pieces for you, depending what you wanted to upgrade. So for me personally, I felt like you could upgrade flex, your tight end, and QB. Like I don't know if you agree with that, disagree.
100% agree.
Okay. So like we'll start with
Just
Joe
won't
Burrow's the
give up.
truth.
I like Joe Burrow, so that's why I'm okay if I don't upgrade it there.
right. Yeah,
But
that was
I
your
could
least
definitely
need.
still upgrade there.
Yeah. So
The
like for
thing is, I won't
Saquon,
give up anybody to go to get better. I won't. I refuse.
Yeah, I think
right?
you would have to really give up. Did you say who who you thought you'd have to give up?
Mike
Josh?
Evans,
So I thought his
Lamb.
best trade pieces were Saquon, CD Lamb, and Mike Evans.
Okay, yeah, I'd agree Saquon 100%. Saquon might be one of the people you can capitalize on now by promising, another team him in the
Right,
playoffs.
because with Saquon, I feel like you could, even if you keep Joe Burrow, which I think is totally fine. I don't think that's like your glaring need, like you said. If you don't upgrade at that position, I think you're still fine. But you could
Mhm.
upgrade if
This
the thing
this
came. Go ahead, Craig.
I was gonna say this really pains me to say it, but you could easily go to I would go to P Funk and offer him that option and take Gronkowski, Deontay Johnson, and maybe a third guy in that line, something like that. Maybe even Schultz. No, you're getting Gronk. So
I
take
don't. I don't think you'll get more than that from Funk if you
to be
offered
fair
that.
too, you don't want. I guess you don't want Gronk
I can
and
talk him
Evans.
into it. Keep going, Craig. I'm liking this.
Maybe throw maybe throw him Evans. Go real big. Throw him Evans.
No, we can't have him.
Well, then you take Gronk, who's going to be the red zone threat when he comes back anyway. Take Deontay Johnson to fill that hole, and then you can easily probably poach. Yeah, he needs help at running backs. You want a decent RB. Might be asking for too much, but you might be able to get another. You might be able to get another receiver from him.
I doubt it unless you're not going to get a receiver of any significance from him outside of Johnson.
He's injured. That's what sucks is Saquon's
Right, and that's
injured,
the
so he
thing with
can't start him
Saquon.
right now.
Even though he's projected right now to start, we
Yeah.
don't know for sure.
I
And
think I
with
have a
it
way
being
to sweeten the
go ahead,
pot for him too. To make that
go
deal
ahead,
slide through.
go ahead.
I'll offer him if I ever get property. he has hunting rights.
I gotcha.
I named my baby girl's middle name P Funk. What do you want from me?
See, I wouldn't do that if it was. I guess for me, if I was Funk, I wouldn't want Hunt just because with that injury, it's at that point
You mean
they might.
I know what you're saying.
What?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
You
I
said
think
Hunt.
No,
You said Hunt. No, you meant Saquon?
no. I would take Saquon for that, but because you were saying right? Correct?
Sorry, you cut out. What?
Yeah, you cut out.
Oh, I said you said you would throw Hunt in the deal, right? Kareem Hunt.
You're asking Craig, right?
No, he's asking you.
No,
I didn't
he
say
can't.
anything about Hunt. I think Brent just said he'd
Sorry.
sweeten the pot.
I'd sweeten the pot by offering him hunting rights
Yeah.
to my
Hunting
property.
right.
Property.
I thought you were hinting at Kareem Hunt when you
Nice.
when you said that.
Josh
That's
is
fine.
football all day.
Yeah.
Okay, then yeah, that definitely would probably get the deal done for sure.
Right? Yeah, you
Like,
can go shoot the fucking deer. All I want is give me all these three guys.
Well, maybe go back
well,
to go ahead, Josh.
And he
no,
gets
you go ahead.
Saquon.
You go
I was
ahead.
gonna say maybe go back to Shane. Like we said, Shane's just filled with talent.
I
You could
could
try
go
to get.
Shane.
I mean, Zach Moss and Damian Harris. Maybe
I
get
just
yourself a little.
unfortunately I hate Damian Harris. I hate Waddle.
I get that. I get
I just
that.
think they're
Damian Harris scares me, but I
ugh.
do like his. I do like just his what's the word I'm looking for?
Like
His
if I
opportunity.
when I was thinking about it at one point, because I thought about going to Shane for a trade, and because I don't like those small pieces, the Harris, the Waddle, I'm
Yeah.
gonna want big. Like I'm
Well,
gonna
you could
want Debo. I'm gonna want,
you
and then
could
I was like,
probably
well, then
get
I'll have to sweeten the pot and offer him this and
right.
See, the problem with Shane right now though is, and it has nothing to do with his players, like performance wise. The problem is you don't want Amari because you have CeeDee Lamb.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want Godwin because you have Evans.
Right.
What about
And he
So
Debo,
that
doesn't
Zach
want
Moss, and Dave?
Evans.
Oh, man,
Yeah.
because a trade that I thought of was, so how high are you on Hurts?
gross. That was
So
correct.
you're not high on Hurts. So, but
That was me.
you could maybe try to get Stafford and Debo, but that might be too rich
I don't know.
for just Saquon.
It wouldn't be horrible to do like a Stafford Debo and have him throw you Harris or Moss or something. Take one.
Yeah, I can't remember what he threw me. He threw me a somewhat tempting offer, but it was late in the week, is what it was. I told him. It was
Oh,
like
so you couldn't use the
Waddle.
player?
Yeah. Kirk had already played, and so I was already
Mm.
screwed at that flex position. It was
That's
Hurts,
ballsy of him to offer you an
Waddle, and
offer.
Harris. That's what it was.
I mean, if I was Shane, I would offer
Those
you.
three.
I would offer you Stafford, Samuel, and like maybe Harris or Moss, like with one of those three combinations, and then just have Godwin plugged in over Debo and have Jalen Hurts over Stafford, and then you have the promise of, what's his face at your flex throughout the playoffs. That's fucking
He's
that'd be
definitely
stat.
someone I could have a chat with, because I mean, I declined the trade when I could have countered. You know what I mean? Like he was
Sure.
probably trying to open the lines of communication there.
Because
And I was like,
Bren, what you could do too, like if he doesn't want to do that straight up for what's his face for Barkley, you could throw in Joe Burrow as a
Yeah, Joe
piece to
Burrow.
get
I would rather play Joe Burrow than Hurts. I mean, that
right.
personally, I don't know how
So
you.
like you could
that
do
was kind
Burrow.
of what I
You,
started falling towards. Was like, I
okay.
still Joe Burrow's pretty much
Throw him
just
that
as
trade.
good. Yeah, so it's like, I don't know.
See, I don't want to say that though, because I don't want him to have fucking Saquon in the playoffs. So don't do that shit.
Because yeah, with Shane he would have the three RBs, and then he would just play Godwin and Cooper, or Godwin and whoever else's wide receivers are.
Yeah, that's right.
Um,
Godwin Cooper.
yeah. So
We all know he's picking up Adrian Peterson. So
no, he's not, because I have Adrian Peterson.
oh, you already picked him up. That's right. You sneaky snake. I remember that. Nice job.
Yeah, because I was leaving a slot on my bench open in case Kadarius Toney didn't play, for me to pick someone up. And when Kadarius Toney was playing, and then I saw that news break, I just picked him up just in case. And since he was still a free agent, I could pick him up even though most of the people had played in the week. So
It's a
it
good
worked
pickup.
out pretty nice.
I would say
Yeah.
it's a safe flyer, secure.
So it's not going to be anything like amazing, but I think he has the potential to just be kind of like just one of those people that'll get you like 10 to 12 points maybe a week with the chance of a touchdown every week once he gets acclimated.
I don't think that. I personally think Adrian Peterson is. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I don't want to say. I bet you he's like a 5 to 8 pointer.
Okay, no, that's probably more fair. And then 12 if he scores a touchdown.
How many? Like what? Maybe eight, maybe 7 to 12 attempts
But
a game.
because you got to think about it. Adrian Peterson was Derrick Henry before Derrick Henry, basically, with like the
where's
size
Jamal
and the
Charles?
power.
Let's pull him on a team. Let's get him back here. I want Jamal Charles back. I'll put him on my
But
team.
I'm just saying, so they're probably going to use him, like, especially at like in the goal line situations where they like Henry. You know what I mean? So, like you said, he's probably a 5 to 8 point guy, unless he gets a touchdown. Then he's that 10, 11, 12 point guy with the touchdown.
For sure.
So, so the last person was me, and I had Craig do this one for me. So go ahead, Craig.
Oh, did I? Yeah, this was for you. So, let me pull you up here. So I picked your two best trading pieces to be Alvin Kamara and obviously DeAndre Swift. I would personally, how we talked about DeAndre Swift and him, I would personally say he's definitely, if he continues his production, he's your keeper. I was thinking Alvin Kamara, you go over to P Funk and you like you said, you desperately need receivers. I might trade P Funk, give him Alvin Kamara, and then grab like what was it? It was P Funk. It was Deontay Johnson and like maybe DeAndre Hopkins or Justin Jefferson or something like that. If you could capitalize and get two,
Oh wow.
If I'm giving up Alvin Kamara, like I said, I mean, if you Alvin Kamara, even with his risky quarterback play, I would give up Alvin Kamara for like, if I could get like Deontay Johnson, Justin Jefferson, or something like that. You're obviously not going to take his running backs because you need running backs.
Yeah.
If you don't really want Mike Davis, you can take Mike Davis, but he's just kind of a no voice. I would say the meat would be.
No, I would probably just do that, like the 2-for-1.
Yeah, and that way he can plug in Alvin Kamara and Darrell Henderson. I guess that shortens him up a little bit in his flex.
At wide receiver.
Wide receiver. Yeah, if you gouge him like that. Yeah.
Yeah, because I wouldn't be interested in Hopkins. So it would have to be, if he's doing that, it would have to be, I doubt he would do Chase. So it would have to be
Justin Jefferson and DeAndre.
Well, yeah, so it would have to be two of those three, either Chase, Jefferson, or
then
Johnson.
But then he's got Aaron Rodgers, Alvin Kamara, Darrell Henderson, and then like Jamar Chase and DeAndre Hopkins. Like that's a solid four. And then, he can. It's easier to play a risky play at flex than it is, I guess, to have a downer RB2 like Mike Davis. If you can't
yeah, that's interesting because I definitely.
I mean, that would solve your issue.
Yeah, I mean, he's been off. Well, I mean, I would then be down Alvin Kamara, but then I would have Eli Mitchell. But like I said too, we have that trade possibly going where I'm going to get Deontay Johnson for Eli Mitchell. So I'd rather at this point have that. But I get what you're saying though.
Yeah, I guess I wasn't considering Mitchell. I don't consider, if someone gets hurt like that and they're injured, I don't consider like a big name. I don't consider them a trade option. So with Mitchell, he was in a good place on that team, but he just got injured. So either way, they run the ball in committee. So who knows who's going to be up next in that fucking offense if he's not playing. So if he was fully healthy, 100%, I would definitely say if you can go straight up like Elijah Mitchell for Deontay Johnson, plug that in. I'd rather run DeAndre Swift and Alvin Kamara with Deontay Johnson than like Emmanuel Sanders but I don't think with him being injured, unless someone really wants him or unless something comes out with him not being as unlikely to play, it's just going to be harder, which is why. I mean, Alvin Kamara is, I think, just the easiest thing to trade, especially with his quarter. What's his face just went down. Their quarterback just went down.
For Swift or for Kamara? Yeah, Jameis Winston.
Winston just went down. So, I mean, that once again, that could hurt that offense a little bit to where you might want to get rid of him before. And
although,
I mean, they did see Ingram, right?
Did you see that? Philip Rivers said he would listen to New Orleans if they wanted to talk to him about signing him.
That's awesome.
I know Drew Brees said no.
If that happened, I would. Kamara would be, because Philip Rivers loves dumping down his running backs. It'd be having Drew Brees all over again. I love that.
I want to say I feel kind of bad because, like, I know we're just talking about, like, I mean, it seems to be I'm bringing up Funk a lot, maybe Shane. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm sure there's some other teams who could use an RB, but like, you could technically go to Justin too, and maybe try to get like, same thing where you can get like maybe a Gaskin and a Brown or something like that, or a Gaskin and a DJ Moore. And
I know, and the funny part like about that is like, because like I actually had those down. Like I had Waller and Swift as my two guys, my best trade pieces. But I had Funk and Justin as the trade partners. But the problem with like that, like I traded Justin Gaskin, so like I don't want to trade back for Gaskin. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's fair.
So like you gotta think. I mean, I know you didn't. That's not your job to remember that, like to say. But I'm just saying, like that's something to think about too. Is like someone like me who's already made a few trades, like if I already traded Justin Gaskin. I don't want to trade back for that,
Even
Or
if
like
Gaskins
Shane when
is
he,
doing good? What if Gaskins
yeah,
doing good?
yeah, but he's not doing good. He's had like one good game. That's it.
Yeah, he falls into like the Damian Harris. But I think
Right, and
he's got a better ceiling than Damian Harris, and
and that's why I think it's funny about Shane keep offering me Damian Harris in trades. Like, dude, I traded him away for a reason. Like, if I wanted him that bad, I wouldn't have traded him.
right.
So the fact that you're
I
using
think
him
you
as a
just like
filler,
shaking him in front of your face every now and then. You
which is
fucking
fine. I
want him
don't care
back? You want-
because that's not going to make me accept the offer. So
You
but
could hop on Kenneth Gainwell. Like it was, yeah, I don't know, something. I just
no, I don't know. Like that's the thing. Like if it was like at that point, I would rather have Damian Harris than a Kenneth Gainwell or a Miles Gaskin. Like yes, I would rather have him over that.
what
So,
about
but
Alvin
go ahead.
Kamara for
Hmm.
Chase Edmonds, James Conner, and Tyreek Hill?
Mm.
Whoa. Does that tickle your
I
fancy?
I would have to strongly consider that.
That's not a bad one. Dan could afford it.
I would. I mean, I would probably have to give him Ingram too, who's Kamara's backup, which would be fine. Um, yeah, that I would have to strongly consider that.
And then Dan can plug in Chubb, Kamara, Thielen, Terry McLaurin, George Kittle, and then he can keep Carter at his flex, or he can do something different with his flex.
Yeah, he can
Assault
maybe try to
years.
swing another trade for like a low end flex type option.
Yeah. I mean,
You could
I
Or
maybe
might,
yeah,
snag an extra guy from you
with
too.
Dan taking
When
that
you're
big L
low.
from me this week, I might think about it.
oof, that's man. Yeah, that would be a good offer. I would have to consider that for sure. Now you got me thinking, man. Jeez. Well,
You just
because
have to
I'm
see
just
if
thinking
Dan's
like,
willing to part with Tyreek Hill for Alvin Kamara. I would do it, but
Right?
well, see,
because
I think what I'm gonna do is, and you guys better not say anything to anyone about this since you know before. But because, like I said, I did offer because Funk texted me this morning. I told Craig this already, not you, Brent, but
Hmm.
um, texted me this morning, which is Tuesday morning for people that listen to this on Sunday or whatever. And he was like, because how I brought up after Henry went down, I said, "Oh, I'll trade you Mitchell for Johnson, Funk," and he's like, "Oh, I'll think about it." And he texted me this morning saying he would do it. And at first, I was like, "Well," I was like, "I'll do it, but can I send it tomorrow after waivers go through or whatever?" He's like, "Yeah, that's fine." And then like 10 minutes later, I was like, fuck it, I'll just send it now."
Yeah.
And I sent it, and he hasn't responded yet, like accepted it yet or not.
Hmm.
So, but if he does accept that, I would. I'm just thinking ahead. Like if I were to do that and then trade Kamara and Ingram for Hill and the other two, I would then my running backs would then be Swift, those RBs, and then my wide receivers would be Hill, Johnson, and Ridley when Ridley comes back, or Hill, Johnson, and AB. And then I
yeah,
would still have Waller and I would still have Lamar Jackson. Like I'd be okay with that.
better put on your selling shoes, buddy.
Ooh, I doubt Dan would go for it, but
Better put
we'll
on your
see. I,
selling
I
shoes.
want I want to see what happens with this Funk trade first, though, and then I'll see.
Yeah, if you could unload Mitchell, that's fair.
Yeah, so that'll be dope. And then, because like I said, like I'm not too like running with just Kamara and Swift the rest of the year after this week because Swift's on a bye this week. I'm okay with. I don't need too much depth at running back because I have Kamara and then I have Ingram, who's his backup, and then I have Swift and Jamal Williams, who's his backup. So if one of them get injured, I
Got them
have their
handcuffs.
backup. Yeah, exactly. So like I'm not too worried about that. But
Yeah,
yeah, to make that trade though, I would totally.
send it
Then
to him.
yeah,
See what happens.
I might because like I
Send it
said, I
to
was
him
trying
before
to
this pod
unload.
goes live. Send it to him before the pod goes live. Put on your
I
selling
was
shoes. Get it done.
trying to sell Waller, but like I said, tight end's just not as valuable as
Yeah, definitely
their
don't
position.
tell him that we talked about it on the pod either, because it'd be so much better when he figures it out later.
Oh, I
Like,
won't.
oh, these
I won't.
motherfuckers been planning it. Collusion.
Right? I won't. And then he'll be like, "These
You'll have to
goddamn
make a convincing argument to separate him from Tyreek Hill, but Kamara is that argument. So,
Yeah.
and then backup of the two running backs that he won't need with Kamara, and if he doesn't get rid of them, he's just being a little greedy. But if he gets rid of those two,
Well, because what I could do is try to like throw in like Emmanuel Sanders or someone to put in his flex and say like, hey, well, because what I could say, or someone, I could even do AB if I wanted to.
Sure.
And then just say like, hey, you're downgrading at receiver, but upgrading at running back. And I'm flipping it. I'm downgrading at running back, but upgrading at receiver. You know what I mean? And I think that might be able to.
I would try it straight up first, and then maybe go into the conversation.
Well, no, right, yeah, I would do it, and then if he asked for more, I could throw in one of those extra receivers. But
yeah, you don't want to get too crazy now. Don't be giving away the whole kit and caboodle. Tyreek Hill.
Well, I mean, like I said though, if I'm getting rid of Sanders, I already have, especially if I get Johnson. I mean, because like I said, I got to wait to see what happens with Johnson first. If I get him, if I don't get him, I don't know if I make that trade for just Tyreek, especially with no Calvin Ridley right now. And I don't know if he's coming back this year or not, honestly. So that kind of affects things a little bit too. If I knew I had Calvin Ridley to pair with Tyreek Hill, then I'd be more willing to do that without Johnson. But I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, I'll have to consider it. That's intense. So yeah, sorry, that was a little long-winded, guys. Sorry. So you guys want to hop into the picks?
Yeah.
Sure.
All right, we'll hop into the picks. It was a rough week last week, pick wise. Everybody went 2-3 again. I'm pretty sure like 2-3 is what we're destined to go this year. Like,
it's
been determined.
Well, I'm not. So we all went 2-3. Ike went 1-4.
What?
Yeah.
Did you change up the dog treats?
I was gonna say, what changed?
No, nothing. It just that's what happens when the kiddos win. You know.
Okay.
Really fuck shit up.
Yeah,
so,
that's
but he
true.
He went 1-4. So all of us are 17-23. He's 18-22. Ike. So he still has a better record than us.
Fucking dog.
So all right, let's start it off with Bren versus myself. So I went myself, and Ike went Bren. So
whoop, whoop.
Bren, I'm assuming you're going yourself.
Yeah, I'm going with the puppy.
See, and I only went myself because I lost last week, Bren. So you know what that means.
Oh God.
Hey, it's been happening.
It has not broken once this year. It's
Son of
been
a
alternating.
I'm gonna pick
And
Bren.
that probably means I'm gonna die because I'm probably gonna score most points against Bren this week.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you're getting killed for sure.
That's
So you
sure.
guys might be attending my funeral in a couple weeks. So, all right, Craig, you said you went Bren as well?
Yeah.
All right, I love being the underdog. Let's go.
You.
All right, Nate versus Funk. I went Funk, and Ike went Nate. So, Bren, who are you going with?
I'm gonna go back to Funk. I think Funk comes back. Yeah.
He still has a strong lineup, even with losing Henry. So all he has to do is replace that one RB. Which I say that like if he's just a normal guy, but his lineup can make up for it for sure.
For sure.
It's a hard one. It's a hard one, man. Teams as is. Man. That's hard. I guess I'm gonna pick Nate. I'm gonna ride Nate. I like his matchup.
You're gonna ride Nate.
I'm gonna ride Nate to the end of the earth. Dude, I picked him last week. He's got,
He got a win last week. He's sitting
Wentz
at
at the Jets, Williams at Green Bay, worst running defense in the league. Aaron Jones at Kansas City.
Fuck off.
I'm just saying, like he's got a good, he's got some good matchups. I don't know what he's gonna do about. I said gamble because it's tight end, but I'm gonna stick with Nate.
Okay.
All right.
And then Funk will put up 1 billion points, so it doesn't fucking matter.
Probably. All right, Justin versus Mac. Ike and I both went Justin. Bren, Craig, who you going with?
I have to pull it up. I'm sorry. Justin versus Mac.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, my computer don't run that fast. It
Oh,
does.
you're good. Bren, are you ready?
I'm gonna go Justin. Yeah.
Justin. All right.
Yeah, I'll go Justin as well.
Okay. Clean sweep for Justin. All right, Dan versus Barber. So I'm not gonna lie, for this one, I went with whoever Ike went with in this one because I could not decide. I thought this was gonna be. I think this is gonna be a tight matchup, and it could be a high scoring matchup. I think so. Ike went Dan, so I also went Dan. Who are you going with, Craig?
Barber.
I'm going Barber as well.
All right.
Mix until the day I die.
All right, and then the matchup of the week: Craig versus Shane. 6-2 versus 5-3. They're first and second in the Kitty division. Who will win this matchup? Ike went Craig. I went Shane. So, we'll do the picks and then we'll kind of talk about it. So, Craig, I'm assuming you're going yourself.
Let me think about it. Let me look at it.
All right. Well, while you're thinking about it, Bren, who are you going with?
I am still thinking.
Okay. Well, if you want, we could talk about it a little bit.
I was gonna say, break it down a little bit for me.
All right. So yeah, I mean, again though, this is kind of like with the Barber and Dan matchup. I think it's going to be a really good one. It's just, man, the way Shane's team is playing right now, it's just hard to go against them. The kid's putting up points. I mean,
putting up points, dude.
Like I said, I like all your matchups, Craig. I think he has an advantage in tight end against you. Are you rolling with Arizona's defense against San Fran?
All year. Yep.
All year. Okay. I think that might hurt you. I like Pittsburgh against Chicago. But I think the difference for me was the quarterback. I know Tua has a good matchup against Houston, but dude, Stafford, just the way he's playing, man, he's probably MVP front runner right now for both fantasy and real life. Go ahead.
I was just about Stafford. I think if Stafford threw more touchdowns and Henderson wasn't such a monster in the red zone, Stafford would. He would obviously be the number one quarterback right now. Like the dude.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And I mean, he's still throwing like 3 touchdowns a game.
Say, that's what 100%. That's what I'm saying. Like, so like if he was in Brady's
throwing 5.
Brady.
Right, yeah. If he threw 5, I mean, he could do that against Tennessee. It depends how much Tennessee can score against the 100%. Rams, which might be a lot harder now though because of no Henry.
I would say if anything, that might not be as high scoring of a game
as we thought. Right. I mean, it might be, but it just might be one sided. Where
he's a stud though. You can't verse. I mean, it's basically stud versus good matchup.
Yeah, if you get Stafford to score like 20.
That's good.
I like your chances a lot more, right? But if he gets up in that 30 range, that's when you might be in trouble. And then also Taylor against the Jets. The Jets are awful against the run.
See, everyone keeps saying that, and they are terrible. Don't get me wrong. Definitely bottom 3-4, but like I just they put up points to where it's just not. I just don't. Taylor will probably have a good game, yes, but I don't think
right. But that's what I mean. Whether they put up points or not.
But do you think he matches Elliott? You think he matches Elliott?
Yeah, Denver's a really good run defense. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying Elliott's going to put up 5 points. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm just saying I think Taylor can easily match, if not outscore Elliott.
Yeah, I'd agree. With that.
With that, we gotta see but I like Harris over Robinson. Whether Robinson's fully healthy or not.
And Buffalo. It's a stout defense.
And Buffalo. Yep, exactly. I think Keenan Allen has a slight advantage over Cooper because once again, Denver's still a good defense. I know they just traded Chubb or not Chubb.
Von Miller.
Yeah, Von Miller, but overall their defense is still really solid.
I hope their defense just like revolts against the coach and they just throw it up because then Elliott will feast.
Right?
That could be bad. That could be bad.
I think Samuel over Marquise Brown, but that could be close though. It could be.
Yeah, they both have a high ceiling. Yeah,
especially if Kittle comes back. That could. I don't know if that hurts Samuel. I bet you Samuel's target share drops just a skosh.
Yeah, it could, but it could be one of those things where it might drop, but the quality of the targets might go up. You know what I mean? It could help, but it could hurt. It could 100%. Hurt as well.
Yeah.
Even though KC's been bad, I think Kelsey's still an advantage over Ertz.
No way, dude. Ertz is better than Kelsey. Let's talk about it.
And I think normally I would take Higgins over Waddle. I think I still do, but I think it's closer with Waddle facing Houston. And I think Shane's probably doing that too because of the Tua connection.
Sure.
Hoping that Tua throws one or two to Waddle, but
I might pull out Higgins and throw in Parker. Fuck.
Dude, I hate you for having Parker. I wanted him, and I'm like, why can't I find him? And I looked once at like everybody's team, to see who has him on their bench, and I didn't see him at first. I was like, oh, so he should be on a free agent for me to pick up for, through waivers. And then I'm sitting there searching for like 10 minutes for him, and I can't find him. I'm like, what the hell? And then he's on your bench. I was like, dang it, Craig? Because I could have swore you had him. And then I was like, no, I didn't see him. And
here's the thing, though. If Christian McCaffrey ends up not playing this week, Chuba Hubbard starts as a starter again, and he'll probably be plugged in at my flex over T. Higgins. If McCaffrey does not play.
I think I might still go T. Higgins.
Oh.
Yeah, I was leaning with T.
Oh.
Because New England's a pretty good run defense, man. They're a pretty good defense overall. And Carolina's been awful this year. So, like, in facing a good defense, like, Atlanta's not a good defense, and they only put up 19 points. So, against a good defense like that.
Yeah. No, I can understand. I mean, it's just hard to, like, he's getting like 15 to 25 rushing attempts a game.
Yeah,
like,
I was gonna say
can't.
Just that.
Yeah, which is fair. Like, and I'm not saying that's an awful play that you're dumb if you put Hubbard in. Like,
I wouldn't. I get it. Trust me, it's hard for me to pick Higgins over. It's hard for me to pick one of them because I like Higgins a lot. And when Chubb, if McCaffrey does inevitably come back, T. Higgins is my true flex. So like,
and like my thing with that is I would trust. For me personally, I would trust Cincy's offense over Carolina's offense. That's to where that's why I would keep Higgins in over Hubbard in my opinion, especially with these matchups.
Yeah, I'd say Higgins has the higher ceiling for sure, but Hubbard is guaranteed to fall in the end zone. So I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, with this matchup, you might need that ceiling though, not that floor.
Cleveland a really good defense. They haven't got a really good defense, but granted, I guarantee Higgins doesn't take.
Points wise, but I think Higgins. I mean, look at Deontay Johnson last week. He had 9 for 90 or something like that. Like, so if Higgins gets that plus the touchdown, that's 20 points.
Yeah, it's hard.
Possible.
It's hard because that trio, that triple-headed monster over in Cincy with those 3 receivers, it's really hard.
Yeah, and I mean, I disagree with you that
the receptions and targets going that way for Higgins like it does Johnson.
I mean, they have been.
No, Higgins is getting his targets for sure. I think he's going to end up being a great flex, but.
And like I said, with as bad as Carolina's offense is, Hubbard's not guaranteed to fall in the end zone. I mean, if they're scoring 1 touchdown a game, that could go to him. That could go to DJ Moore. Sam Darnold could rush it in. I mean, he already has 5 rushing touchdowns this year, So, like I said,
you're not wrong.
If Carolina's scoring 1 touchdown, there's too many people around that could score that touchdown. Where at least if Cincy scores 3 touchdowns, is more likely to score 3 touchdowns. T. Higgins is more likely to score than, you know what I mean? That's just my logic.
I mean, you're not wrong because I might keep him in there just because it's also, to be fair, having 15 to 25 rushing attempts with only 8 to 15 points is not like great. So that's
right.
it's a really poor. I mean, it's great volume, poor stats, but like you said,
Right. If he gets you 15 rushing attempts for 80
I'm more
yards, are
pissed
you
that Noah
happy
Fant.
with that?
What's that?
Yeah.
No,
I
yeah.
just say 15 yards or 15 rushes for 80 yards, like, and that's it. Are you happy with that compared to,
Shit.
7 catches for 90 yards from Higgins?
Yeah, it's close. It's gonna be a hard decision. I'm more pissed that Fant's out. I want Fant over Ertz with what's his face going down, but I'm kind of stuck here.
Right.
I either have to drop. I don't want to drop anybody. I think this is the week.
Right.
I don't want to say anything against Mixon. Never mind.
But yeah, no, I go Shane with a slight edge over you, but I think, like I said, with Dan and same with Dan and Barbara, I think it's going to be a close game, high scoring matchup. So,
yep.
Bren, you said you're going Shane as well.
Yeah, I give Shane the slight edge here.
Ooh, okay. Well, we got 2 and 2. Ike and Craig went Craig, and then me and Bren went Shane. So
I think
that's usually how these work out.
I would agree. I think he's got the slight edge, but I think his team falls apart and I win. Hopefully. Oh God.
That could be it. I mean, I don't really care either way. I just want Shane to lose to shut up. But at the same time, I've been picking him to lose, and it's been costing me. So I got to start picking.
I think maybe we should all
not
pick
with
Shane.
my emotions.
We all pick Shane. So he loses,
right?
Gets me a win.
No, because every time we pick against him,
right? I might be cursing myself. Nah, I'm obviously sticking with myself.
Hey, Ike, can I change your pick?
Rough.
He said, yeah.
There you go.
He said, yeah, for a treat, I could change his pick. So
I was gonna say, yeah, you offer some sweet sustenance, and that dog's gonna be all over it.
Exactly. So, all right, boys. Well, I think we're good. Unless you boys got anything else to add.
No way, dude. We said it all.
No,
We gave
yeah.
the hot trade topics. We hit the matchups. We hit the headlines. We're
Good
keeping
luck,
these
boys.
boys informed.
Good luck.
Yeah, and that topic was really fun, Brad. That segment.
I especially loved it, like having your guys' input, just for like me, because like there's a lot of trades I don't think of, and so like to be like,
Right.
oh hey, go out and talk to this guy, talk about these
Right.
pieces. It's like,
And like the reason I chose like us two as well, because like we were talking about our teams, and it gives people perspective on what they should offer if they're looking to acquire said person. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
instead of everybody trying to guess and stuff. Like I said, if I got offered that trade that Craig said from Dan, that would be something I would seriously consider. Like, that'd be a heck of a trade both
right.
ways. So it was really interesting, and I really enjoyed it. So I thought this was probably one of the better podcasts we've done this year.
Yeah, no, I agree.
So, all right, boys. Well, Brent, get this over to me whenever you can, and I'll have it up probably Saturday, because I'll just be chilling here alone Saturday.